Hello, I'm Colbie, and I'm a junior at New Mexico Academy of the Media Arts. I'm aware that my high school career is coming to a close, and college is my next educational career. College will be a huge transition for the most of us, and through conversations with my classmates, I've realized a lot of them are not prepared for the challenges of college. One area where they're not prepared is actually feeding themselves. A lot of them have just lived their lives with food simply appearing on the table, and have seen mom and dad cook in the kitchen and go to the grocery store, but have no clue how food is actually prepared. It is my hope that I can teach you how to cook and have cooking survival skills, so you can have a good chance of surviving college, because you cannot live off of Pop-Tarts, ramen, and frozen pizza. Some students will have meal plans, and that's awesome and all, but then you're going to start missing homemade foods that you've had since you were a child. And it's always good to have a variety of things. And it's always important to know what options you have for yourself. And also, colleges sometimes will let you use crock pots, sometimes they'll have kitchens. And some of you guys will just live alone and realize that it's not physically or financially possible for you guys to live off of fast food. I hope you're getting curious. In kitchens in your home, you will find cabinets and shelves filled with utensils and other appliances. Unless you've already started collecting your own utensils, you won't have the luxury to afford steel knives, amazing pottery, pots and pans. But I'm going to tell you some stuff that you'll need for the basics. Now, initially, your kitchen's going to be bare boned. And again, to successfully cook, you'll need a lot of supplies. But they're pretty cheap. First, I would suggest for you to get a skillet. Iron skillet is awesome because you can cook and bake and roast stuff in it. Now, I would suggest to get a better iron skillet than this, something bigger and something that has a lid. You're going to need a decent saucepan. A good place to start for looking for utensils is at your own home. Ask your parents what they aren't using and they will never use so you can take to college. Garage sales and secondhand stores are also great. Just make sure you wash it before use. As your cooking skills improve, you'll also need oven-proof cookware. To make casseroles, you'll need serving bowls, like the ones I have here. And yes, you're going to need mixing bowls. This one's cool and has a lid, so that's fun. You'll also need a set of measuring spoons and measuring cups. Something like this could cost you $1 at Walmart. Now, I would suggest to get metal ones so things don't stick to it, but you gotta use what you have. Now, another thing you will need is a good set of oven mitts or pot holders. There are small utensils, just simple utensils you'll need. Wooden spoon is great to have on board all times. Cutting board's also amazing. And yes, you're going to need a vegetable peeler to cut up vegetables. You need to eat vegetables, no matter how much you hate them. Another set I would suggest you would get is something like this. This has probably every plastic utensil you'll need, except for a spatula like this. You're going to need one of these for today as well. Now, something very important to have, a knife. Now, ceramic knives are amazing because they are pretty inexpensive, can take a lot of abuse, and I mean, they're just great because they're cheap and great and fun and awesome. They're not fun, what am I saying? They're knives. And of course, you're going to need something like a kitchen towel to clean up. Of course, you're going to need to be organized. Being organized will make everything be much more enjoyable when it comes to cooking. You don't want to start cooking something and realize you don't have a stick of butter you need, or you don't have enough eggs. And that's why it's always good to have everything out and ready. A great place to start is eggs. Eggs have a long lifespan, they're delicious, you can make them into fajitas, you can make them into breakfast burritos, you can even just add Spanish rice to some scrambled eggs. And another thing is, they're inexpensive. You can they have a very long life shelf. And, I mean, look, you get 12 eggs for about probably a couple bucks. Eggs are a great place to start. Now, when you buy a carton of eggs, you really don't know if they're going to be good. Of course, you can open up and check if any eggs are cracked or anything, and that's a good way to check. And usually there is a sell-by date. Usually it's right on top of here. Now, the problem is they don't have a use-by date. You don't really know if they're going to be good or not. So I'm going to show you this simple hack that will work to show if your eggs will be good or not. So, you take an egg, you just put in some cold water. If it sinks and it's laying horizontally, it is good for use. If it's standing on the tip, they're good, but you should probably use them soon. So, that's kind of where this egg is going. But if it's floating, that means it's a bad egg. Now, that's great, but it's still a good habit to crack an egg open in a bowl before you put it into your pan. Now let's make some scrambled eggs. I'm going to teach you a different way of making eggs. Usually people use milk, and you're probably also thinking, eggs aren't hard to mess up. Yes, it is. I've done it. Eggs can be messed up. And you don't want your eggs to be rubbery and hard. You want them to be soft and fluffy. So, we're going to make eggs using a stick of butter instead of milk. So, the supplies you'll need is a saucepan, a knife, butter, one of these spatulas, and bowl to crack your eggs in, salt and pepper for seasoning, and then eggs. First thing you're going to do, you're going to take your butter and you're going to cut 2 tablespoons. That's simple. Now, what you're going to do with these 2 tablespoons is you're going to cut them into quarters. Oh, they're stuck. With this, you're just going to toss it into your saucepan. You want it all to still be cold. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to take an egg and you're just going to crack it into a bowl. You want to do this because sometimes there's red spots and you don't really want that in your egg. I don't want to crack it on this nice little table you have. And you can see with this egg, it's perfectly good. Now, for 1 tablespoon, it'll be 3 eggs. Since we're doing 2, we are gonna do 6 eggs. Now you wanna do this into a separate bowl. So, like I said, just in case there are red spots or if a shell gets in. Trust me, you don't want to eat an eggshell. They aren't pleasant. Since we're done cracking the eggs, I don't need this anymore. You should always be running a hot dishwater so you can just toss your bowls and dishes in and it'll soak up anything that will, so it doesn't harden to the bowl or the plates or anything. So once you've done that, wash your hands because you don't want raw eggs on your hands, and then we'll move to the stove, and then we'll start cooking the actual eggs. So make sure your stove is cold before you start doing this. You're gonna turn it to medium high, which is about right there, which is between like the 8 and 5. And then you're gonna break the eggs and you're gonna start mixing. And you're gonna do this until the butter melts. So you wanna scrape the sides so you can just get all the egg, and it's always just good to scrape the sides, especially once this starts to form into actual scrambled eggs. So always remember that. Now, since the butter has melted, you're going to turn it to a medium low, and you're just going to keep mixing. Keep scraping the sides, and you're seeing how this is starting to form. Just keep on going and keep on going until it starts to form into scrambled eggs. Alright, so as you can see, our eggs are forming. They're still a little wet, but they're turning into something that'll taste amazing. Now, as you can see, a lot of it is sticking to the bottom, and that's okay. Since we're getting to a point where they're forming, I'm gonna set this here. Will this balance? That won't balance. Okay, we're just gonna put it here. Now we're gonna just add some salt, and we're gonna add some pepper. Oh, it's frick. There we go. There's some salt, and there's some pepper. Now, we're just gonna keep on mixing again. It's so squishy. Alright, so our eggs are fully formed. We're gonna turn off our our stove, and we're just gonna put this in an ice bowl. Now, you wanna get as much as possible, because this is gonna be your food for probably the whole day. But there you go. Perfectly good scrambled eggs. Let's get back to the table real quick. Alright. So we just made some amazing scrambled eggs. And now we're going to quickly make a burrito. So you just start off simple tortilla. And we just put some eggs, and the hash browns I have are just hash brown patties. They're really simple to make. You cook them on a skillet, and you just let them turn to a nice gold color. Some cheese, and wrap it up. And we have a nice, wonderful breakfast burrito. And here's the awesome thing. You can get pre-made bacon at a lot of grocery stores. You can wrap these up, and then you can have them for lunches. And again, our scrambled eggs, you can add Spanish rice to them, you can add black beans to them, you can even add some vegetables. Remember, you gotta eat some vegetables. But yeah, there's a lot of things to do with scrambled eggs, and that's why we started off with it. They're easy, they're simple, and you can eat them for a week and be fine. But now, sadly, we have to say goodbye. I hope you learned something today, and I hope you had fun. My crew and I surely did have a lot of fun filming this episode. And remember, work hard and keep cooking. See you next time.